Hey, happy Tuesday. Good morning, Revelation Wellness community. Well, it is probably not morning for some of you. For some of you, it's afternoon, but it's Tuesday at 10, and I always get the delight of showing up here. I'm Alisa Keeton, the founder of Revelation Wellness, and I am on my walking desk treadmill. I never know how to say that. It's not like the walking, my desk is walking. A walking treadmill for your desk. Someone help me out with that. I never know how to say it. It's just a little treadmill that goes under my desk so that when I'm working all day, I can change my state, my physical state of being. Because sitting is the new smoking, as they say. And so before I jump into this teaching today, we're going to talk about why the weight can't be lost. I want to invite you to 21 days of walking prayer. As I'm here, hello, you can't hear. Can you guys hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. Hi, Renita. Let me know. Carrie, can you hear me? The 21 days of walking prayer, we have 2 days left, well, a little over 2 days to get going in the 21 days of walking prayer. If you're in, any donation amount will get you in. You can hear. Thank you, Kelly. Whew. Okay, you can hear. Turn up that volume, some of you. Awesome. Thank you. Okay, great. I was like, oh gosh, technology. Love it. So yes, 2 days left. The sign-ups close on Thursday, 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to get in. We have thousands of people joining us. This is one of our most robustly attended challenges, although we don't call this one a challenge because it really isn't about challenging ourselves more. Perhaps the challenge is in the prayer. That is the prayer. The prayer challenge for 21 days of consistently praying for 21 days and moving our feet when we do it. So if you are in, would you let me know? Yes, okay, there's Martha is signed up. Let me know if you're in. If you're in, drop a thumbs up, or you know how I love my, where is it? Where is it? I can't do a teaching without it. Drop the freedom bell in the comments. Let me know that you're in. And then before I go any further today, here's the deal. I need your help. I'm just saying it. H-E-L-P, a 4-letter word. We need your help sharing this good news about this walking challenge. So would you hit share here, and not just hit share here, if you have a friend that you know could be blessed by just going for a 20-minute walk every day for 21 days, you can donate for them, or call them, or send them a text, or drop them a DM and let them know. Invite them. You guys, this is part of you being healthy and whole. It is not your pastor's job, your Bible study leader's job, the person that seems more, quote, spiritual than you to share good news. It is in the going, and the sharing is your healing. If you are afraid of what other people might think, dang it, share. You got to break free from fear of man. And how do you break free from fear of man? By doing something that scares the hell, the fear, the shame, the anxiety out of you. So do something opposite. Invite someone, share, give away good news. We cannot hoard freedom for ourselves. If you're having problems losing weight, I'd ask you, how free is your heart? That is a huge question. That's why here at Revelation Wellness, our ultimate goal is to raise disciples who get free, stay free, and set others free. It is for freedom that Christ has set you free. For the joy set before him, you being free to not worship and serve other gods than the God, Yahweh, the one who put on skin and walked among us. That's a freedom. And freedom is not, it's a concept until it's a lived out reality. You have to live out freedom. So, don't shrink back. The world doesn't need, you know what the world doesn't need right now is quieter Christians, needs kinder Christians. The world doesn't need us to shut up. We have to shine a light. We are salt, we are light, but we got to get kind. People don't want to hear what we have to say if how we say it is just abrasive and judgmental and gossipy. If there's no fruit, don't eat from my tree. So come on, this is why we got to pray 21 days of getting back in our bodies, not to get a workout, not to try and burn calorie for calories' sake. That is so diet culture, and it's dead. It's dead. Kill it. Okay. So thank you for being here. Thank you for joining in the challenge. It's up. Here's the link. Don't procrastinate. Here's a little tidbit for you. If you sign up, or if you still want to be a part of this after Thursday when signups close, you can still join, but the donation is over. There'll be a set fee, and it will be $29. So that's crazy, because we ask for a donation, any amount, just trusting you to give your best. We give a suggested $10, which is 21 days of training. Y'all, I'm a personal trainer by trade back in the day. I don't get to do it as much anymore, but I kind of like to think I do it with you guys. I would charge anywhere from $100 to $150 for an hour of time with me, and you're going to get 20 days of personal training, someone in your ear personally walking you through prayer and walking, keeping you in your body, your breath, keeping you as a physical person or a spiritual being with a physical body. You are body, soul, and spirit. So, my goodness, it's a deal. Okay, offered as gift to others. Yes, amen. So, help me share this. Share this good news. If you are enrolled, share it. If you're not enrolled, get enrolled. Hit the link, learn more. I always feel this time of year, 3 times a year we release something to you that we like to call good news serving pizza. We just deliver pizza. That's what we do, because pizza's good. Whether you like it with anchovies, not anchovies, however, it's always good. The gospel is good. So we spend so much time. My team works so hard to create stuff for you. We ask the Lord, what are people needing right now? And this time of year, beautiful outside, we just have to reset and walk and pray. So I get super loud right before a challenge is about to launch, because I don't want anyone to miss. So thank you for being here, and thank you for amplifying my voice by sharing. We're all in this together. It's not my solo role to play. We are in it together. We are the body of Christ. Okay. Yes. Yeah. And by the way, if you donate for someone else to participate, they will get an email, and they can opt in or opt out. So we're not going to spam them just because you gave. They get to choose to get in it or not be in it. Okay? So don't worry about the privacy thing. We're very, very responsible with not taking advantage of your emails. We just communicate. Once we do have your email, we will communicate to let you know all the good things that are happening. We don't expect you to do everything at Revelation Wellness. Some things will feel right just based on the season you're in, and some things might feel like, nah, not right now. But right now is a good time to walk. So I'm going to walk and talk today. I just got done listening to a teaching about how there are so many studies that prove that when you go for a walk, your creativity goes higher. So let me encourage you with that. If you feel stumped, creatively, relationally, emotionally, you feel stuck, you feel frustrated, go for a walk and think about the idea without ruminating. Just lift it up and ask God, like, can I have a different perspective on this? Show me something I don't know or something I haven't seen. I was just listening to a teaching about it. And studies show that they often do studies with people where they will test their creativity by bringing them into a lab, and they will give a person an object and have them come up with as many ways as possible to how would you use this object. So it's like a creativity test. And people can come up with X amount of ways. They might use a fork or a random object, my AirPod case. I don't know, whatever it might be. But when you take those same people and get them out for a walk, and ask that same question of an object to come up with different ways to use the object, their creativity increases by, I think, 20-fold? Or is it that they come up with 20 more ideas? In other words, it does increase when people walk. And that's so powerful. That's why if we can go for 21 days and walk the words of Jesus, it will deliver to you something a little bigger than just sitting in your chair. You guys, when Jesus walked the earth, he walked. When he taught his disciples, there was so much time of travel that there was walking and talking. Yes, there was sitting and eating, and yes, there was time in the synagogue. And those times would be recorded, but some things would be while they were walking on mission from place to place. And commentators and historians say that Jesus could walk up to 20 miles a day. In some points, he would walk up to 20 miles a day. Can you imagine the amount of creativity, the amount of openness that you would have to life inside of that? But see, we've lost that. And by the way, the disciples then, I'm sure, would have loved to hop on a donkey, to see a car, right? This was pre-industrial revolution. So we now have all these gifts and blessings because of our creativity to solve problems. But now we're losing, as people were beginning to shrink, because these blessings have taken away some of our agency as human beings to walk and talk and think without offense and defense. We're so postured now to offend or to defend that we don't even hear truth anymore. We're just ready to retaliate. Like, come on, we gotta get kind. We gotta do some healing. Can I get an amen? Okay, let's jump into this teaching. Why you can't lose the weight. First of all, I'm going to talk about weight. I'm not afraid of it. I think now we see, as we're moving away from diet culture, and what's the definition of diet culture? Diet culture was when fitness, food and fitness, is there to create change aesthetically in your body, to change your body. But the big thing behind diet culture is it's rooted in fear and self-loathing. Okay? We see a move coming away from that. I see it happening, thank God, praise God. Listen, I've been a fitness professional for over 30 years. Yes, 30 years. And in the glory days of the 80s, the 90s, I knew all the formulas. I knew all the things to help people cut back on their calories, increase their activity, increase their muscle mass, lower their body fat. In some ways, I was like an artist and a sculptor. And there's nothing wrong with that. We had to kind of go through that phase. But what we realized is the root of it, and I realized this is why the Lord called me out of it to do ministry, to talk a bigger story, because he knew this was going to happen. That people were going to start to kick against this and say, you know what? It's not working. 95% of all diets fail. Body shame, this exclusivity of different body types and just saying one body type, we're seeing people throw that off. Praise God. Fear and self-loathing drives diet culture. So if you're wanting to lose, quote, weight, if fear and self-loathing are behind it, stop it. Stop. It doesn't work. You know what it does? It's like a pacifier. It might keep you busy sucking on something for a while, but just like staying on a pacifier for too long, it will change the structure of teeth, the bone structure of your mouth. Stop. So if you're wanting to, quote, lose weight, so I have to ask, when we're going to talk about weight, because I'm not afraid of it, who told you that you needed to lose weight? It's really important. Who told you? Where is this coming from? Again, if it's rooted in fear or self-loathing, stop. But who told you? Because on the other side of the coin, maybe somebody told you that is a respectable physician. Someone who wants the best for you is worried. The reports, the labs came back, the cholesterol's high. That'll tell you. And you don't have to be afraid of a diagnosis, because a diagnosis in the kingdom of God is not a prognosis. Just because you have a sickness doesn't mean you will be sick the rest of your life. So there are people here that know, you know what, I could lose some weight. But there's some people here that you've been told you should lose weight, and something, media, images are telling you should lose weight. So I can't do that work for you. You've got to do that work for you to know, where do you fall? What's driving you? If truth is driving you that, you know what, I got the lab reports back, ain't doing so well. And maybe you know it too. You're up at night, you're eating when you should be sleeping. You're eating when you should be having the conversation, or you're restricting. Whatever you're doing, I can't do that work for you, but I know someone who can, and it's the Holy Spirit, and He's a helper. Ever-present help. So if you're struggling with it, stop looking for man to tell you. The Holy Spirit is perfectly sufficient to help you. So you would know, am I doing this from diet culture, or am I really wanting to be well? Jesus comes to the man on the mat on John 5 and says, do you want to be well? There's some things that you're using to stay on that mat. Your excuses about why other people can't get you in the water, whatever it is, stop. Do you want to be well? But it's in listening to the voice of God that we're made well. This is why we're going to walk for 21 days. We got to get back to the Word made flesh, walking and dwelling among us. So who told you is a very important question. You put this, we can have our little confessional time. Maybe your father told you that being overweight is unattractive, that your thighs are getting too big. Some sideways talk came out and told you, so you began to believe your body was dysfunctional or wrong. Okay? So you got to ask that question. When it comes to weight, who told you you needed to lose weight? Who told you, Genesis 3, when we first sin and we eat the fruit we're not supposed to have, the question that God asked man on the other side of sin, who told you? Who told you you were naked? Who told you? Okay. All right, so first we have to answer that. The next question we have to answer when it comes to weight. First, who told you? Second, what is the right weight for you? What is the right weight? Who really knows this? Who can tell you that? Nobody can tell you that. Nobody can tell you this is the weight you should be. Only the God who made you, who knows your DNA strand, who knows your genetic code, who knows. By the way, I love it. It's in the version of the Message, Matthew 5, when it says that we are the salt and the light. You're the salt, or you're the light of the world. A light that can't be hidden, Matthew 5. The Message version says, you are the God colors of the world. The various colors showing the beauty of God. And I love that, because light is a spectrum of the rainbow. Do you know the color white? So I have this white ring light. Look, if I put my glasses on, you can see it. It's all the colors present. That's what white light is, all the colors. All the colors. And black is the absence of color. Absolutely no reflection. White is reflecting all the God colors. White, whenever you see white, it's reflecting red, orange, yellow, green, blue, the whole spectrum, and even all the colors inside those. We are the light of the world. We reflect the various colors and beauty of God. So when someone says to you, you should weigh this, careful, okay? Only God could tell you what you should weigh. And by the way, it should change in and out of season. It should change as you age, as you're young, as you get pregnant. I'm talking to women. I'm talking to men as men go through their own version of menopause. It should change. I've been married 25 years. And my sweet man's husband, my husband's body has changed, and so has mine. And it's beautiful to me. It's ours. I am his and he is mine. His body is fantastic to me. It's not the same body he had when he was 25 years old. It's not. It's not the same face. It's not the same hair. Everything's changing in him, and it's changing in me, and it's covenant. This is why no one can tell you your weight. You have to be in the season you're in and give yourself permission. But that does not give you permission to live according to your flesh and shorten your quality of life. Amen? Okay, so what is the right weight for you? That has to be, what is the right weight for you? Who knows? It could change every day. By the way, statistically, they say you can go 5 to 10 pounds in and out. And it's actually healthy for you to move about a bit. It's healthy for you. Once you start to go over a threshold, it's probably because you dieted, because you moved 5 or 10 pounds. And once you start dieting, you suppress a hormone in your body that I'm going to talk about in a second. And when you suppress anything, it comes back aggressively. And then we're now starting to chase the diet scene. Okay. I thought about this. When it comes to a question that often comes up when people say, well then how am I to know what weight I should be? First of all, you have to give yourself permission to be moving around a bit. Okay? Move around a bit. And only people who do not make food or exercise their idol, their God, are okay to move around a bit. But if food or exercise or your body becomes your God, you will grip tighter. And the tighter you grip at something, the more it just leaks right through your hands. If you were to use something, I've done a little bit of research on this, the body fat percentage things, they can be off because some people are just going to have a little higher body fat percentage. Fat is not bad. Fat keeps you alive. Fat takes care of your brain so you can think, your skin. It's not bad. So it's hard to say what percentage you should be. That's why they generally do ranges. But I think we need to get away from fat, because then we think fat is bad and I got to get rid of some of this, quote, fat. I don't know. I think it's just been kind of played out. So we used to kind of do that. Instead of weighing people, you'd measure their body fat. Okay, maybe. But again, it's hard to say how much fat someone should or shouldn't have. The next thing was BMI. We went through BMI for a while, the body mass index. Well, we found out that's a crock, because some people are just going to have a higher BMI and be super healthy. It's an outward body mass index. It's height to weight ratio. Some people are going to be more stout, so they're not going to be as tall, and they're going to be a little wider. That's okay. But there's one thing that I'm like, well, that's interesting. I'm not saying this is the holy grail. I'm just here. We're just chit-chatting as friends. And that is the waist to hip ratio. And I'll say to that, I think I can get on board with waist to hip ratio only because when the waistline gets real big, gets bigger or grows, that's visceral fat. And visceral is not the same as subcutaneous. When I was a personal trainer and I would pinch people's fat, that's subcutaneous. Whatever fat is on your body, let me pinch that and see. Okay, now we'll burn some calories and change it. Visceral fat is happening inside the organs. And that can show up when you have insulin resistance, inflammation in the body. There's more things going on there's some health concerns, potentially. But again, I'll say to that, some people, your girl, right here, I'm a Mexican, full-blooded Mexican woman. We have thicker waistlines. Generally, not all. I don't like to do a sweeping statement, but can I get a shout out from the homies? Generally, we have a wider waist. Now, I'm not worried about it for me because I know I'm doing everything well. So I don't actually measure my waist and measure my hips. But if someone had excessive, like noticing a rapid change in your waistline, that's often, there could be something bigger going on there that has to do with something I'm about to talk about soon. So I'll come back to it in a second. Just think about the waistline. We know that men with over a certain circumference of waist, visceral fat, not subcutaneous, visceral, at a higher risk for heart attacks. Okay. So that's a freebie. Do what you want with it. Don't get nuts on me. Don't partner with the spirit of stupid and everyone starts pulling out their tape measures. You know. I know when I put on a pair of pants, I'm like, oh, they're a little tighter than usual. Okay, and by the way, my pants have changed. Menopause has changed the waistline. There it is. But I'm doing everything else in my life to partner with health and well-being. I'm not obsessing about it. I'm allowing my body to change in seasons. But if all of a sudden something was happening where there was an excessive amount of weight, of course, I would go to my doctor and take a look at my blood work and go, what's going on with my hormones? So we could check into that. Okay. Moving on. I'm starting to sweat. Yeah, inflammation is big, says Jennifer. You have lupus. There we go. Autoimmune disorders. Anything in the autoimmune family, inflammation. You got to watch it because the inflammation, inflammation is a good thing, but excessive inflammation that stays, your body begins to attack itself. So it begins to think the foreign object is you. That often comes from, not saying autoimmunes come only from, but often are driven from stress. And stress comes from childhood adversity, trauma, adult trauma, capital T, little t. Those type of things often connect to autoimmune pain that people go, I don't know where it's coming from, but it's here. Okay. So what's responsible for our weight? When it comes to us as Imago Dei, created in God's image, gave us physical body, this amazing creation, what's responsible for our weight ultimately? Not food, not the calories we take in. It's not about the calories you take in, it's about how we burn them, how we use them. That's responsible for our weight, which is your metabolism. So just hear that. What's ultimately responsible for your weight is your metabolism. What's metabolism, Alisa? Well, think of metabolism as a fire that burns inside of you. It's that energy to convert energy. It's the ability to convert. Metabolism, I always like to think of, take a log and put it on a fire. Whenever you see a fire start to go down and it's dwindling, put a fresh log on the fire, it starts to burn again. Ultimately, that is the dictator of what you're doing. If you're going to store calories more or if you're going to spend them more, how's the fire doing inside of you? And I love that it's a fire because God talks throughout Scripture about Him being a fire. He's a consuming fire. He comes to Moses in a bush, as a bush in fire that does not burn up. He shows up in fire. He's a fire by day, or a fire by night, and a cloud by day. He's a fire. What's the purpose of fire? To cleanse and to consume. The purpose of a fire is to cleanse and consume. If you want to clean something, get it real hot. Sterilize it. Put it in something hot, boiling water, clean it. And if I need to burn something, consume something, put it on a fire. It'll turn to ashes. Oh boy, y'all, welcome to the gospel. This is why He is a consuming fire. The thing that's consuming you, He wants to consume. Inside His heart, as you take whatever is consuming your heart and move it closer to His heart, He will consume it and He will cleanse you so you're free. It's beautiful. This is why we're going to walk for 21 days. We've got to move our hearts closer to Him because there are things that stress us out, that are consuming us, that are mastering us, that if we don't purify them out of our hearts, we will be consumed. So metabolism is a fire that burns, and God's fire burns inside of us. I'm convinced. Find me a person who burns for God, and I will show you a man or woman who is not obsessed about their bodies. Find me a person who's consumed with God, who they are like David saying, one thing that I ask, I just could keep my eyes on your beauty all the days of my life. Then they're not looking down at their thighs and their stomach, but that's constantly what the world is trying to do to us. And so that's why I show up here, and that's why my team works so hard to create these things to go, come and walk with us. Stop being consumed and be consumed by the fire of God. You show me someone who burns for God, I'll show you a man or woman who's free and on mission and cannot be knocked down. And if you knock them down, they get right back up. They're like RoboCop. They just keep going. Okay, so metabolism is a fire that burns on the inside. So more than what we do on the outside, in other words, more than what we're externally doing, more than how I engage with food, how I engage with fitness, we need to pay more attention to what's going on the inside of us. The fire that's burning inside of us. What's going on? Now, here's what breaks down. Here's what I want to talk about today, real practically. But why we can't lose, quote, the weight, if we're talking about practical weight that can be measured. And that's two things. One, hormones. Two, your nervous system. One and two. Alisa, why these two? Because articles are out there about, if you were to Google why I can't lose weight, there's many reasons why, but these two are the two, well, there's one more, being your genes, that you really can't control in a sense. So let me break this down for you. This is an article from WebMD. Things that slow down your metabolism, things that negatively affect your metabolism so that what's going in can't come out the right way. What's going in can't get consumed and burned and converted into energy. Think about this. Hit share for me, would y'all? If you're just jumping in, I see there's like 110 of you. Hit share. Come on. If you're a Jesus follower, help me spread this message and get people back in their bodies. Inviting them to this walking prayer for 21 days. Okay, here are the top 10 things that negatively affect your metabolism so you can't lose, quote, the weight. And I want you to also think about the weight in terms of just fear and self-loathing and anxiety and worry and all those things that get in the way like a stumbling block towards you living a good life. One, I'm going to go in order of, well, no, number one, genes. Your genes, this goes back to nobody gets to tell you how much you should weigh. Nobody can do that. There's no formula for Alisa Keeton and her DNA strand exactly how much she should weigh. Nope. What her body shape should look like. Nope. Could I play with it if I wanted to? Yes. Will there be ramifications? Yes. Choices and consequences. Your genes, though. Your genes. This goes back to kind of hip to waist ratio for me. Like, I'm Mexican. I'm going to be a little thicker in the middle. Some of you are thicker in your thighs. Some of you are thicker in your booty. Some of you are thicker in your arms. Pear shape, apple shape, pencil shape, whatever it is. Genes. So can we all establish, at least for now, we can't change our genes. I can't. God colors of the world. God intended for your mama and your papa to meet so that you would be birthed into the world to give a God color to the world. That there is a shade of you, a tone of you to be seen that displays the glory of God. And nothing's going to change that. And this is why the enemy tries to he hates that you are an image bearer of God. He hates it. And so he tries to continually tell you something's wrong with you. That's not good. God's not good. That's not good. They're not good. You're not good. Not good, not good. And then we begin to believe that. I think the statistic now are from 8 years old, Most 8-year-old boys and girls have tried a diet at this point. Because we listen to lies. So that's why mamas, papas, be careful how you use your words around your children. Genes. Oh, I could go on a whole thing on epigenetics, but I don't have time for that. So your genes will tell you how your metabolism is going to work. So stop despising what God's called good. Second, now, again, I can't control genes. But second, that will affect your metabolism. Yeah, if this is a good teaching, share. Share again. Tag someone. Tag a friend. Sharing is caring. 2, lack of sleep. You want to dumb down your metabolism? You want to burn or turn the fire down? Stop sleeping. Interrupt your sleep. Have erratic sleep. Guess what? Sleep is something you can control. Yes, it is. And some of you go, Alisa, I try and it's not working. You're going to need to look big. You're going to pull back and go, what am I doing in my daytime that's affecting my night? Am I on my phone for too long? Am I watching TV? Am I being stressful? What's my nighttime routine? You guys, if sleep is something for you, man, become a student and start searching all the things you need to do to improve your sleep and go after it like a gangster. This weekend we were in New York. And we were at this restaurant where they were all wearing shirts on the back. It said, don't be half a gangster. I was like, oh my gosh, be a full gangster. Don't be half a gangster. When it comes to your sleep, these things, come on, fight for them. Do the thing you know to do. The Bible says to know what's right to do and not do it is sin. So if you know it, you do it. Like a gangster, Becky. All right, so lack of sleep will affect your metabolism. Woo! Menopause. I know I'm showing my age, but when I went through that for a while of like night sweats, it was miserable. My sleep, that's a big one for me. When my sleep starts to get messed up, everything starts to fall apart in the day because your day starts the night before with good sleep. Don't be half a gangster. You're all going to remember just that from this teaching. Okay. Third, that affects your metabolism so your fire's not burning and you can't lose the weight and on it goes. Strict dieting. Strict dieting. I'll come back to why that messes with you. But you have control over that. You choosing to sign up for another strict diet or another go around on a 95% of a diets that fail, you're affecting your metabolism. Negatively affecting it. Can we heal it? Yes. Good news. I'll come back to that in a second. Dehydration. Number 4. Everyone? Dehydration. Ouch. That's a big one, and that's so true. Your body is 60% water. Your heart and your brain are 73% water. And that, your water, your body has 11 different systems. Cardiorespiratory, muscular, skeletal, skin, integumentary, reproductive. These systems, right, that your metabolism is burning to feed all these different parts of you and keep the organic beauty of you going. If you don't have water, it's literally like you're putting water on the fire. And it's true. When you're dehydrated, your body's pulling water from all these other places, and so the fire goes down. So, hydration. Yep. I know. When I hit one for you guys, I want you to be like, ouch. When it's an ouch for you, let me know. Water's definitely dehydration. Some days I think I'm just going to wear a Camelback with a straw right here because the reason I don't drink water is I'm busy. But that's dumb, Alisa. That's the spirit of stupid. I am the authority of my life, of my time. I can take more time or make better choices to stay hydrated. Okay. All right. Number 5. Being over-caffeinated. Hey, too much Coffee. Too much coffee, too much caffeine can drive up the blood sugar levels. And it just makes sense. I mean, there's nothing wrong with coffee. It's too much. Not having it, too much coffee. Okay? Again, that's something I can partner with. That's in my control. Affecting my metabolism. Number 6, medications. Medications. Antidepressants, antipsychotics, heart medication, blood pressure, different medications might do that. And so here's where we have to have a little bit of grace. And here's the other thing, with some medications are not bad. They will help, praise God for the science, the doctors who've come up with it. The hope is that you don't have to stay on the medications. That's the hope. And if someone tells you you have to stay on this for the rest of your life, I would be full gangster. Don't be half a gangster. Do more research and find out other things. A lot of times, y'all, our food will heal. Seeing food as medicine will take away the medication. If you want to do that. If you want to do that and be a gangster. Full on. So medications, that's one of those things where it's like, you can help it and you can't help it. So just hold that loosely. Thank God for medications where they are absolutely needed. My daughter has a thyroid gone. So for the rest of her life, she will need to stay on a medication. She won't, food's not going to solve that for her. But are there foods that can help her so that she has more energy? Yes. So just making sure you all know. Yes, grace, Jen, grace. But medications can be a tricky one. And if it wasn't for her surgery and what we had to do to help her, she literally could have had a heart attack. So praise God for medical interventions. Okay. If you haven't hit share, please hit share now and help us spread good news for people that they have a way out of what feels hopeless. Why they can't lose the weight. Okay. 7. We're almost done. Got to be done because I got to go teach. Another teaching. 7. Cutting carbohydrates. Cutting down your carbohydrates. Keto. Now, this doesn't mean have all the carbohydrates you want. That's not good. That would create insulin resistance. Not good. But trying to restrict, take away the carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are bad. It actually messes with your metabolism. And I know this to be true so much because carbohydrates are like paper on fire. It will burn. It'll burn. Easier than protein, easier than fat are carbohydrates. It's a sugar. It's a form of sugar. So those will go fast. If you take out carbohydrates, the reason keto works and these low carbohydrates work is because you take out the main burning fuel that's turning the fire, and then it forces your body to have to burn on your metabolic fire protein and fat. So then you get this body that starts to get more svelte or shrink, but it's unsustainable. It's unsustainable. Research continues to show people can't stay on these. It'll work. Now, for some of you, because of medical reasons, you're told to go more keto. Great. But I would also encourage you, could you go to the Lord with what kind of healing? You guys, I know him to be a healer. He heals so that you don't have to stay stuck. He doesn't heal all. He heals in his time. Some people get healed in a moment. Some people, it's a process of life, of walking with God. And some people, all people will be healed as they see Jesus face to face. So, cutting carbohydrates for vanity's sake, that's the spirit of stupid. Stop it. Okay. 8. Disrupting. How you doing? Yep, unsustainable. All the keto people are like, yep, can't keep it. But I will say, my body can't do a lot of carbohydrates, but I do carbs. Heck yeah, I do carbs. Absolutely. But I've learned to listen to what my body needs. And nobody needs too much of anything is a bad thing. High fat, high carb, high protein, low carb. Low fat, carbohydrates, fats, and proteins literally make up your metabolism. Those are the logs going on the fire, and the biggest one that burns is carbohydrates. That takes up the most amount of attention to burn are carbohydrates. Okay. Number 8, negatively affecting your metabolism so you can't lose the weight is anything that disrupts your circadian cycle. Back to sleep. But basically this is if you start working during nighttime and sleeping during the day. Night shifts, people that work night shifts over time show a harder effect on their health, their overall well-being. It's kind of one of those things you can do for a short while, but to do it for too long can have a boomerang effect. So again, I've just listed out 8 things. 7 of them are in your control. Medication, we're going to put that one on, put it on the grace altar. But for sure 6. It's a lot in your control. Number 9 and 10. Peek up and listen up, and then we'll wrap it up. Number 9. Negatively affecting your metabolism so you can't lose the weight is chronic stress. Chronic stress. That means ongoing stress. And what happens, an ongoing stress has an overworked nervous system. The nervous system and hormones, remember I talked about those 2 things? We can pay attention to those. Nervous system and what's going on in my hormones. We will see a change, an uptick in the fiery metabolism burn. Of course, these other things, you can drink more water, but those are the obvious things that I think we've spent a lot of time working on. But chronic stress and getting your nervous system to calm down, your nervous system is responsible for taking information and turning it into action. Good or bad information becomes action. If all we think in line with is bad, worry, stress, anxious, then out will come bad actions. Eating more than I want, drinking more than I want, gossiping more than I want, backstabbing more than, right? If all that's going in is fear and worry and back to fear and self-loathing that drives diet culture, out comes bad. Your nervous system is overtaxed. This is why going for a walk for 21 days, is going to help to reset our nervous system so that we can take in information and turn it into action based on the information of God's Word. It resets our nervous system. Going for a walk, not a workout. A workout absolutely will help your nervous system, but if you're not working out, let's start walking. And if you are working out, you're probably starting to obsess about it a little bit more. Turn it back down and go for a walk and get back into just a healthy nervous system. A nervous system that isn't overworked or overwhelmed or overstressed. Chronic stress drives up cortisol, the stress hormone. Too much cortisol floating around in your bloodstream makes it impossible to convert sugars, insulin levels stay high, and there goes the midsection, the waist, the inflammation. Chronic stress, cortisol, and inflammation are all connected. And y'all, this is where I feel like if I could just yes, this is the big one, Becky. If I would, I think this is what I'm supposed to focus on until I leave this earth, because in this world you will have trouble. And if we don't have a kingdom mindset, we're thinking in line with trouble all the time, and our nervous system is rocked, and then our metabolism cannot work. And even though I'm drinking water, and even though I'm going to sleep, if I'm still nervous about it, if I'm rattling with a frequency of fear, and the information I'm thinking about is producing in me thoughts of my belief patterns, my biology is breaking down, my immune system is breaking down. So stress, do not fear. Do not fear. That's why you have to have practices in place for your life that put up guardrails of I do not fear. Okay, I'm feeling afraid. You know what? I'm going to go for a walk with the Lord. We're going to talk about this. Okay, I'm feeling afraid. I'm going to sit down and lay here and meditate on his word. I'm feeling afraid. Fear is the big one, everyone. Fear, shame, and guilt. Fear, shame, and guilt. We have a harder time being in touch with shame until you really are in touch with it, and then it's hard to get out of it. But we know fear. We know fear. Children know fear. They know fear before they know shame. They know fear even before they know guilt, because they usually know they're guilty because they've done something wrong, because the tone or the voice of someone who got upset with them made them afraid. Oh, and now I'm guilty, and now I feel ashamed, I'm bad. Do we understand? This stuff goes way back in the Wayback Machine. Our nervous system has been taking in information and converting it into action our whole life, and we've got to get back to the beginning, when we walked and talked with God in the cool of the day. Hormones, number 10. And then I got to sign off. Hormones. Hormones. Our hormones feel out of our control. They are to some degree, for sure. But if we back it up to chronic stress, am I stressing about something? Is there fear and shame? Then that will affect my hormones. Your hormone. Diet, back to excessive dieting or restrictive dieting. Every time you go on a diet, let me back it up. The hormone leptin is the big, like, king hormone of your metabolism. Leptin is responsible for telling you when you're full. It's created in the fat cells, and it's produced to come out and tell you, hey, you're full, you're good, right? This is amazing. This is what we want. We want to eat, but we also want to know when we're good, when we're full. It's a hormone that is your hunger hormone. It says you're hungry, you're sad, you're good, you're satisfied. People who diet, when you go on a restrictive diet, the leptin hormone gets squished. It goes to sleep. It's like you're putting it to sleep. You're quieting it down, and it goes quiet. So now it no longer, you're basically saying, hey, leptin, I'm not going to let you vote anymore about my hunger. I'm going to take charge of that by measuring and weighing, and I'll be in charge of it. So you can go to sleep now. You can punch out, I'll punch in. And guess what? People that punch in to take over their leptin, they never get off. The job never ends. You have to stay on all the time. And that's why people realize they can't stay on the job all the time. There's a party, there's something to celebrate. All right, I'm going to have a little bit of that cake, or I'm going to have a little bit to break my restrictive diet. And then what happens is the boomerang effect of leptin comes back. It doesn't come back to the level it once was, because you've dumbed it down. And so then you gain more weight. And so then you go on another restrictive diet, and leptin goes down. And then you go on another diet, and leptin goes down. Stop it. Be a total gangster. Stop it. Bring it back up. Let your body be your adversary. Be your friend. But you will be only willing to do that if you get back in your central nervous system. If you get back in line with new information, a new mindset to work out new action. And then the hormones will get in line. Join the 21-day walking prayer challenge. All that to say, this is why when we go walk for 21 days, we're going to be resetting a little bit of that nervous system. We're going to be thinking in line with the information that will combat stress, worry, that propensity to be thinking about ourselves all the time. I find you'll even sleep better. Sleep better. We'll be able to attack some of these things that can help you get back in touch with who you're supposed to be, at the weight you're supposed to weigh. And remembering, go back to the beginning of this teaching. Who says? And your weight will change, and it can fluctuate and move. But show me a man or a woman who burns with the love of God, and I will show you a man or woman who is free. They're not worried about what they're eating, what they're drinking. They're eating and drinking to fuel them for the mission at hand, or to enjoy the celebration because God is good. Amen? Okay, the link is above. Any questions on the challenge, ask now. I went Pretty long on this one. God bless. Oh my goodness. Sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. Walk in the Spirit and you will not gratify the desires of your flesh. Amen. That's in Galatians 5. Walk in the Spirit and you will not gratify the desires of the flesh. Back to all those 10 things. Those have a lot to do with desires of the flesh. A lot of them. Dehydration, overcaffeinated, lack of sleep. Walk in the Spirit. Let's spend 21 days walking. And you will not gratify the desires of your flesh. We can reset. Already signed up. Let's go. Hey, again, before you leave here, help me with this lift. I cannot do it, but I need to know you're helping me. Mama Keith's getting old. If I don't get help on this, it might be time for me to just go in a cave and hang out with the Lord. I'd be very happy there. I'd be very happy. I just want to be with him. But I come out. We create these things to help us get and spread good news. Spread the gospel. That's our mandate. So here I am. But I can't do it without you. So help me spread good news. Thanks, Pam. You're welcome. Yes, eager to walk with Jesus. Thank you. Yes, share with your prayer group. You guys, it's so, no cave. It's just a beautiful way for people to, I think, unexpectedly meet with Jesus. And sitting down, like I said, remember that people that sit down and try to think of ways to think creatively about a fork. Yes, that's good. But when they walk, it expands and opens up. There's more to know about God. There's more to know about him than to sit in an air-conditioned chair or comfortably in our comfy, cozy little couch with our blanket and our coffee. Come on. We got to put on our gospel feet, ready our feet with the gospel, and go for a walk. It's what we did in the beginning. We walked with God in the cool of the day. In a garden, we walked. We tended to things. Wow! Lisa, full gangster, shared the sign-up link with 11 people. She didn't do half gangster. Good job. Thank you. Yes, shared. You're awesome. Thank you, thank you. You guys make this fun. Thanks for having fun with me. All right, it's been shared. Yes. Oh my, I'm going to come back and read these. I'll come back later and read some comments. Let's go. Full gangster. Don't be half a gangster. There's no such thing. All right, you guys, I'll talk to you later. I'll see you next Tuesday. We kick it off on Monday. So next time I see you, we'll actually be doing some walking pranks. So come next Tuesday. And remember, signups close Thursday night at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, I love you guys. Thanks for being total gangsters. Bye.